Hey guys, it's Pastor David, and I've been so encouraged to hear how Christmas has brought hope into so many of your lives. I've been encouraged by the videos and the stories I've heard from you. I hope you've been encouraged too. I wanted to take a minute of your time today to tell you my favorite Christmas story. It's a story that has given my life hope for about 41 years now. And it's about my first Christmas. And it's actually about this ornament right here on the tree. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll hold it up in a minute. But let me tell you my story first. So, when I was a little boy, unlike probably many of you, I didn't have a mom and a dad. We had foster parents, and my sister and I went from house to house, and we spent as a kid, I didn't ever know how to think about it, but I always thought we stayed as long as we could until the love would run out. And so that's what I would tell my little sister, who I called the girl. I didn't call her by her name, she was just the girl. And I would tell the girl that the love has run out, it's time for us to go to the next house. Well, some of the houses were okay, some of the houses were terrible, some of the houses were downright evil. And there's all sorts of people in the world. It wasn't a good life for any child. And finally we ended up at a home, and this woman with a round, soft face opened the door and welcomed us in, and she had made cookies for us, which was a big plus when you're 5 years old. And later on that night, a man with long legs and big feet, we called him, came home and greeted us. And this couple took us in and made us feel safe for the first time, made us feel like there was love for us for the first time. And for the first time I heard about Christmas, and I heard about there was going to be these angels, and there was going to be wise men, and the wise men most importantly had camels, and there'd be shepherds and sheep, and then God was going to come to earth. Now, I never knew who God was before this, and I always thought maybe that there was someone in the moon that was looking over me, because when we were on the streets before we were in foster care, when the nights were lit by the moon, then it was a little safer and you could see to find your way. So I was a kid, I didn't really understand it all, but I remember praying to the moon when I was a child after we'd been at this house for a couple weeks, hoping that we could get to stay and see this thing called Christmas. And I heard there was going to be presents. So it was just all amazing. So night after night, I was praying and hoping that we could stay. And one day, somehow one of the other foster care parents found out where my parents lived. And it was a very angry confrontation. And I could hear these angry words like I'd heard before at other foster care homes. And in my little 5-year-old, 6-year-old brain, I thought, oh, that's it. The love has run out here too. And so I went and got all the clothes that I had and started putting them on, one shirt on top of the other shirt on top of the other shirt. And then I got my sister ready, got her all dressed, and we both kind of waddled our way down to the door. And my mother turned around. I mean, she just had this huge confrontation. She turns around and she sees these kids look like little Michelin tire dudes. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, we were just getting ready to leave, ma'am, because, the love has run out." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, on the other houses, when there's yelling, it means it's time for us to go because there's no more love." And I said, "We've really loved it here, but I didn't want to bother you because you've been so nice to us, so I went ahead and got all of our clothes together." And she was just quiet for a minute, and then she said something to me. We had just gotten the tree. It was about 3 weeks before Christmas, and all the ornaments were still waiting to go on it. There's boxes of ornaments. And she took out this ornament, this one right here. I don't know if you can see it. And she said, "I want to show you something." And she put it on the tree, and she turned the lights on. And of course, if there's heat underneath of this is before LED lights, it would make it spin. And she said, "Whenever you feel like there's no love, I don't want you to come ask me." She was smart. She knew that a 5-year-old could ask questions all day long. "I want you to turn the tree lights on," she said, And if this spins, it means there's enough love for you and your sister. And so you know what I did every night after everyone else went to bed. I snuck downstairs through the dark hallways and stairwells and found my way to the living room where the Christmas tree was, and I turned those lights on every night. Now, Christmas Eve that year, there was a blizzard. And so normally I'd go and pray looking at the moon at night, but that night I couldn't see the moon. And I was scared that somehow this magic of Christmas was going to pass us over. So finally, the lights went out downstairs and I went down to turn the lights on. But for some reason, it didn't start spinning right away. And I prayed, God, please, please, please. And I thought, well, maybe I should just go get my sister and leave right now in the middle of the night so that she doesn't know that the love ran out. The next morning, they actually found me there asleep underneath the tree with the light on and this ornament spinning right over my head. And as I've grown up, I've been told the scientific reason why this spins and how heat rises and moves the propeller fan. But in my heart, I know the truth. It's been 14 years now since the woman with the round face flew off to see the Jesus that she taught me about that Christmas. But I'm sure she's seen angels, and I'm sure she's seen shepherds and probably the camels too. Sometimes I wonder if she sees us, because some nights after everyone's in bed and asleep and even the lights are off on the tree, I'll look up and this will still be spinning and the love has never run out. Happy Christmas.